Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. My name is Rachel Phillips. I'm one of the health coaches at incentaHEALTH. It's our Wednesday wellness chat. We're shifting gears a little bit this month and talking about mindfulness and self-care. We're focusing mostly on self-care today, what that looks like. So we're going to start with a poll just to see how you're doing this week. And this is anonymous, so feel free to answer however you are doing. Good to see that no one's having a terrible week or day. Looks like we have one more, but we'll close it. Most of you said a 3 out of 5, no complaints, just another Wednesday. That is good news. Does anybody have anything great to share? Any fun little tidbits this week? Perfect. You all are easy. Awesome. So we are talking about self-care this month. This week, making self-care count. Self-care is often a buzzword that I think younger generations really cling to, and older generations, it might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. So let's talk about it. Let's see if we can implement it in your life and hopefully feel better. So what is self-care? We can't talk about it if we don't know what it is. Self-care are the small intentional actions that we do every day to support our well-being. It's a lot of the things that aren't as fun, like going to the gym, eating well versus eating pizza every night, seeing the doctor, creating boundaries, sticking to a budget. It's not always fun or glamorous, but it supports us in the long term. It's important to know too that self-care isn't just doing what you want that will make you happy right now. It's more about setting a strong foundation so your cup never runs out. Self-care is more than just the actions to numb the chaos in your life, like drinking, using other substances, tuning out on the couch, watching Netflix. And it's really being proactive. So again, that your cup doesn't run out. I like to think of it, if whatever your favorite cup is, you self-care is pouring into that cup. And then when you have a work thing come up, your kids have need extra attention, the dog is sick, whatever it could be, the life stuff, we pour out that cup, and we want to keep that cup as full as we can. There are different types of self-care, and if you were to look this up, I kind of combined a couple for the emotional piece. So this is not a set in stone science. So if you do some research on self-care, please know that I joined groups together. I would love to know how you all practice self-care. So if you want to shout out your answer, put it in the chat. That way we can share and maybe learn something from one another. But just a couple examples of self-care. In the physical realm, that's taking care of our physical bodies by eating well, doing physical activity, any form of movement that feels good in our bodies, going to the doctor, the dentist, staying up to date on all of those screenings, drinking water, and then limiting your alcohol and tobacco use. If anybody has a great way that they take care of their physical body, feel free to put it in the chat. The next type of self-care is taking care of our emotional needs and our mental health needs. So this could be through journaling, attending a religious or spiritual service, praying, listening to a certain kind of music that really helps you relax, seeking mental health support, having a good support system around you. Sometimes emotional self-care also looks like saying no. If you've had a really long week and all you want to do on a Friday night is sit on your couch and drink a glass of wine and decompress, that is your emotional self-care. You would probably feel really burnt out if you went out, obviously pre-COVID, if you went out and spent the night out with friends, it might not re-energize you. Feel free to drop your emotional self-care tips in the chat as well. And then we have social self-care. So we are very social beings. As humans, we need others to be successful. There is a reason that people, hundreds of years ago lived in villages and with their tribes, and they all moved together and they took care of one another. We are still a very social creatures, so we need to tap into our social needs as well. So things like visiting friends and families, having a supportive community, limiting social media use. At 9 o'clock, I'm not going to get on Instagram because it makes me go into a spiral, or I'm only going to spend an hour a day on the internet, whatever that could be. Part of this social too is saying no, is creating those boundaries. If you have a tense relationship with somebody in your family, it might be self-care for you to not communicate with that person as often or see them as often. Again, our self-care is what is going to make us feel supported and keep that cup full long term. If you have any great ways of how you practice social self-care, again, drop those in the chat. And then this other category, just kind of things like budgeting. I know, not very glamorous, but things like budgeting, setting boundaries, creating a safe space for yourself, somewhere that you feel comfortable completely relaxing at the end of the day. It could be your own space, a shared space. It could be getting out in nature. I'm sorry, I have to sneeze. No, I don't. So just thinking about all of the things that we can do to really support our mental health, our physical health, and well-being is all self-care. Lori, thank you. She says massages, reading, walks, Pilates. Yes, those are all great. I know a lot of that self-care is only like your once a month massage or your once a month hair appointment, once every 3 months hair appointment. And it doesn't have to be that. It could be taking a warm bath once a week. It could be your self-care. It could be, it's those little things. Brushing your teeth is self-care. Anna says that she listens to classical or soft music while driving somewhere or working from home. That's wonderful. That's great. Yeah. My current form of self-care is to walk at lunch and listen to a podcast, kind of get myself away from my computer. Awesome. So incentaHEALTH does offer you tools to help with your self-care. In that physical piece, we have daily exercise plans, a combination of rest days, cardio days, and strength training days. And they're all of those can be accommodated to where you're starting in your fitness journey. We have that emotional self-care. We have a library of guided meditations. We're coming up with more, which is really exciting. And then that social piece, connecting with other members in the incentaHEALTH family, as well as the Wayne.
I think I wanted to do.
You can connect through our Healthy at Home Facebook or participate in any of our challenges. Any questions so far? Awesome. So when I was reading up on self-care yesterday, I found this long list of different self-care myths. And the way I see these is these are some barriers. So let's talk through those. Number one, it takes a lot of time. Self-care doesn't have to take a lot of time. It's preparing healthier meals. It's moving half an hour a day, which I think is like 2% of your day. It's getting plenty of sleep, setting those boundaries, turning your phone off. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. The second one is that it takes a lot of money. If you were to get a massage every week, that might get costly, but you can take care of your body in different ways. Journaling is free. Watching yoga, or not just watching it, doing yoga, any of those things. There are plenty of resources where you don't have to sink a ton of money into it. Perfect. Sorry, a couple more folks trying to get in. It's selfish. This is probably one that we hear a lot, especially as women. We are taught to take care of everybody else, take care of the house, but don't take care of yourself, which to me is backwards. It's hard to pour from an empty cup. And anybody that has been on a plane has heard you have to put your own oxygen mask on before you help anybody else put on theirs. And that's what self-care is. It's making sure that you can get through the day before you can help anybody else. It's very important, especially for folks in caring professions, so teaching, nursing, therapist. That's where self-care is extra important because you are giving so much more to the folks around you. Next myth, the effects of self-care are temporary. Again, self-care is building that foundation. And yes, right now it might stink to have to go to the gym, but you're gonna feel better in the long term. I have never once regretted a workout. I have only regretted the ones I didn't make time for. Another myth is that self-care is just for women. Self-care is for anybody that is a human being. We all have struggles. We all have mental health issues. We all have physical health issues. And self-care is just taking care of our physical bodies. Yes, it might look differently. My self-care is, a little bit more candlelight and bubble baths and reading. My male partner's self-care is more like playing video games and going out for runs. Same effect, different ways to do it. Next myth, self-care is doing anything and everything to feel better. No. Self-care isn't just drinking a whole bottle of wine or taking risky behaviors, even though they feel good. Those are going to do more harm than good. So self-care is knowing your limits as well and playing within those. If you know that, 2 glasses of wine and you get to be a person that you don't like, knowing your limit is self-care. And then again, myth, self-care looks the same for everyone. Absolutely not. We all have different bodies. We all have different needs. We all have a different amount of energy that we can give to others, other topics, things like that. And self-care doesn't even look the same for every person day to day. My self-care today is probably going to look a little bit different than my self-care next week or even tomorrow. The point of self-care is to really dig into who you are and what you know is going to be supportive for you. Do I have any questions on that? I think spring is trying to sprung and I am getting a little stuffy. Awesome. So thank you all again for joining us. The rest of this month, we are covering how to implement mindful moments next week. The week after that, we're going to talk about nutrition. It's National Nutrition Month. We're going to debunk some of those common nutrition myths. I love talking about food, so come prepared with all your questions. Wednesday, March 25th, we're going to talk about positive feedback loops. So how to get our own brains out of that negative spiral rut that we can sometimes get into. And then the last Wednesday of every month, we do a health coach Q&A. Send us your health related questions and we will cover them. If you have missed any of our past sessions or you want to share these with your friends, colleagues, whoever it could be, head over to incentaHEALTH.com/wellness chats. All of these are recorded. All of them are uploaded and ready for you to watch at your earliest convenience. And as always, we have health coaches standing by to support you in your health journey. Feel free to email us, call us, or chat with us, personal.trainer@incentaHEALTH.com. Our phone number is there, or the chat option is both in the app and online. We have a health coach on manning that desk Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Mountain Standard Time. And if you are on Facebook, feel free to give us a like, a follow. Facebook.com/incentaHEALTH or /groups/incentaHEALTH healthy at home. Awesome. That's what I have for you all this week. I hope all of you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy the sunshine. If you're in the Denver area, it's 65 degrees right now, so go enjoy the sunshine.